I have an unhealthy obsession with cuddling. Extremo style! And no, not specifically with dudes. Before you even ask, this is not a gay thing, okay? But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into it. So today's story begins about a year ago, like most of my weird stories. That was the time when my loneliness was really just like at its peak, okay? For reasons that I'll cover in a different video sometime in the future. For now, it's unimportant, okay? But yes, around that time, I made the revolutionary discovery that if I wanted to stop being lonely, I actually had to do this magical thing called stepping outside of my comfort zone and actually trying to talk to people and ask them for things and actually be open about what I want, okay? Yeah, I know, crazy. I must have been visited by an angel because seriously, what divine knowledge, right? Now, you may be asking, Gatafinglo, what is the thing that you desired so that would magically somehow just fix your loneliness? Well, what I wanted was physical touch, okay? Now, why? Because I was hashtag touch-starved and hashtag emo and hashtag a pathetic freaking loser or something, okay? I mean, dude, okay, quite literally throughout that entire time, the only sole thing that I wanted was to just be touched by another person. It was almost like an intrusive thought. Like every single time I'm around someone, I just want to like reach out my hand and then just grab their arm and put their hand on my head or my shoulder or freaking anywhere else on my body, dude, because I just felt like I needed it more than anything, okay? Specifically, I wanted that sort of prolonged affectionate touch, okay? AKA cuddling, AKA something you gotta specifically ask people for and not make it weird, AKA not freaking happening, pal, at least in my case, okay? Because I was way too much of a wuss to just ask people. I was totally obsessed with cuddling, and I get that's not a crazy thing to say on its own because you know, clearly plenty of people also, you know, want to cuddle, and that's completely normal. It's a very normal human activity that humans are very well known for participating in. I mean, come on, folks. However, the reason why I'm making this video in the first place, the reason why I'm saying this is a quote-unquote unhealthy obsession is because I personally started to realize that I had a huge problem. Okay, I took obsession to the next level, and the next level, in my case, was literally only thinking about cuddling 24/7. Genius! I mean, dude, it was literally always on my mind, okay? Whenever I spoke to someone, all I could think about was, I wonder if they'd want to snuggle with me. Of course, okay, in my typical fashion, even though I was constantly thinking about this, constantly asking myself this in my head, I'd never have the balls to actually say anything about it, or even mention to anybody that I wanted this at all, in just like the general sense. So obviously, you know, for one, the reason why this is so unhealthy is because I kind of put myself into this state of suffering in silence, which, you know, is always a really fun time. Fun for the whole family, one might even say. It was literally always in the back of my head, and I felt like I couldn't really talk to anyone about it out of fear that they'd think I was weird, or that it was creepy, or that it was something else entirely. I don't really know, okay? And dude, look, I'll say it again, okay? I know it's perfectly normal, but it's just so hard to bring it up when it feels like you need it more than you need air, okay, dude? What if, like, I don't know, like, something is running through my head all the time, you know? It's like, what if I word it wrong, or accidentally sneeze or something, and then, you know, next thing you know, congrats, bud, you blew it, okay? I'm in this constant state of wanting something, but feeling like if I actually try to reach out my hand and get it, then I'll either be brutally slimed out, or something far worse that I can't even fathom, okay? Like, what if I just get straight up kidnapped and tortured or thrown in prison or something for trying to be physically intimate with my friends? And of course, this way of thinking made me feel terrible about myself. It made me feel like I was too much of a wuss to ever even deserve to be touched by another human being like that, okay? And, you know, as you probably could have guessed, okay, it's no secret, alright? It made me even more depressed and lonely than I already was. We're on a roll, dude. Woohoo! And you know, couple that with the fact that I couldn't stop thinking about how much I wanted it, and that's a recipe for disaster, my friend. I was so freaking obsessed that whenever I met a new person, the only thing I could think about was whether or not they'd eventually want to snuggle with me. Okay? And that made me feel kind of bad because I felt like I didn't really care about the other person at all. It made me feel apathetic in a way. okay? It made me feel self-centered and like I was just wanting to use the other person I was meeting for my advantage to help me get over one of my personal problems. And like I wasn't really considering what that person wanted, okay? So that is definitely one of the bigger reasons as to why this was such a terrible feeling for me. You get what I mean? I basically felt like I had lost all sense of empathy for a good long while, and to be honest, a lot of this stuff, I'm still struggling with it, you know, especially the empathy thing, okay? I'm really trying to get over it. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to just be a normal person, but it's tricky, dude. It is really tricky. However, I will say that I do have a few methods here, okay? Normally, if I'm feeling super down or wishing I could just be with someone for a few hours or something like that, I can typically do one of two things. Number one, I can tell myself to simply stop being a pathetic little sissy and simply thug it out, okay? Get up, do something else, and you know, look, that sometimes kind of works, but it's iffy, you know, on and off. It's 50-50, okay? And the other one, okay? Two, the good one, which is trying to satisfy in some other way, okay? I have this gigantic teddy bear, alright? This jumbo teddy bear that's like 4 freaking feet tall, alright? And if I can, I'll just cuddle with that thing instead. And to be honest with you, that typically does the trick for me. If I think long and hard, I can even convince myself that I am being touched by a real person, and that definitely helps a lot, okay? All is fine and dandy. Of course, I'm not always in a place to do that, which is when problems arise, okay? If I'm out in public, screw you, buddy. Try again later. Or let's say someone else is in my room, might as well just stick a knife in your chest and jump off a bridge, because that is not gonna happen, buddy. Really, the only time I can actually do it is if I am alone in my bedroom, okay? Which sucks because I share a bedroom with my brother, okay? So I don't even really get the opportunity to do even that a lot of times. And I sure as heck do not want to get up and leave my room and go somewhere else, because then I'm leaving my room holding a jumbo teddy bear. And people are probably going to think, what is this grown man doing with that thing? What a freaking baby. This guy needs to grow up and be a man. And to be honest, they're probably right, but that's besides the point, okay? In all seriousness, dude, the only other thing I can really realistically do is to just try to find people and not feel scared to ask, okay? I spent so many years of my life being scared to do things, and because of that, I've just never gotten what I wanted. Okay, that's food for thought, right? I've struggled with self-expression. I've struggled with getting myself out there, like really just trying to talk to people and being myself around people, so that way I can find friends who I know would actually be open to that sort of thing and not think I'm some sort of weirdo, okay? It's a really long, drawn-out process that I've been going through. I'm confident that I'll get through it eventually, okay? I really am, and I'm hoping that eventually I'll find a special someone that maybe I could be physically close with, and it doesn't have to be like a weird thing. You get what I mean? That'd be awesome. And that brings me to the end, okay? I have a little bit of a moral, a little bit of advice for those of you watching at home. Of course, I know this is still something I'm going through currently, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, my friend. Look, dude, here's my advice for you. I recommend that you just get yourself out there, okay? Honestly, dude, be yourself, talk to people, get to know them, and you too can be like me. Kidding, of course, you don't want that. But yeah, genuinely though, I'm honestly looking forward to going back to university again, just so I can do a better job at finding friends, just so I can do a better job at expressing myself, getting to know people, building positive relationships, and learning to build these relationships up to a certain point where I feel like it wouldn't be inappropriate to ask someone a question like that. You get what I mean? So yeah, that's the moral of today's video, okay? But yeah, let me want to wrap this up. I want to mention that I have a Discord server. If that interests you, the link is in the description. No pressure to join, of course, but it would be super nice if you did. Of course, not forcing anything on you. I would never do anything like that. Anyways, though, yeah, additionally, look here, we got some fan art. This stuff is awesome, as usual. Hope you enjoy it like I do. Last but not least, I do gotta say, I have a channel membership. If you're interested, it's $5 a month. Only if you want to support me. No pressure though, dude. The choice is yours. But yeah, thank you very kindly for listening to this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic life, and a fantastic whatever comes after that. So, without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! I don't know, dude. It's like, I just want to, like, lay in bed and cuddle with dudes, man. Okay.